a lot of us aren't here, but what we did was we took a vote to see what businesses everyone would be interested in knowing a little bit more about. And the businesses that were chosen were real estate as a realtor, real estate investments, retail merchandise, but retail merchandise won't be discussed today because Maria, who was going to put on for that, she wasn't able to join us. But we do have media, which is going to be covered by Joel and Mara. So I will speak on real estate regarding giving you from the perspective of a realtor, and Sister Cynthia will give you real estate on the perspective of investing. So, and the reason why we're putting why we're on the panel is because we have businesses that involve these areas, so we can give you guys some insight, what worked for us, what didn't work for us, what obstacles we've overcome, and so forth and so on. So we can start. I can start, or you want me to start? Okay. So everybody knows me. My name is Tina Reed. I'm a realtor with a brokerage called Coldwell Banker, and our firm is located in Maplewood, New Jersey. I believe, and I hope I'm not being biased here, but I believe that Coldwell Banker is one of the best brokerage firms to go to if you want to be a realtor. They help you out. Like you need money, of course, to be a realtor. But at Coldwell Banker, they're not nickel and diming you for everything. You don't have to pay for your business cards. You don't have to pay for a lot of the things that some of the other brokerage firms require of you. Like someone called me and asked me, someone that's a realtor for another brokerage firm called and asked me if I have to pay for desk time. Now, desk time is when you're in the office and you're answering calls from people, from potential clients who want a home or an apartment. And I said, no, Coldwell Banker doesn't charge for that. So just that answer alone made that person feel like, okay, I'm in the wrong place. I want to come to Coldwell Banker. So anyway, so I've been a realtor, well, I've had my license since 2018. And it wasn't until the pandemic when I decided to go ahead and to be a realtor. And actually, it was my sister Vicky, her husband, who actually spoke to me and said, what are you doing? Why are you sitting on your license? Like, God blessed you with it, so you need to do something about it. I was so intimidated, and I know that was Satan putting these thoughts in my head. Oh, you're not smart enough. Oh, you got to have all this money. All these negative things that were trying to stop me from becoming a realtor. And now I look back on it and I'm like, what was I afraid of? I'm like, and I know it was God, because it just comes so naturally to me to be able to do this. You know what I'm saying? And so this is for anyone else who, has a business dream or whatever, and you get these negative thoughts. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Don't listen to them. Because I did, and I sat on my dream for 2 years. And the Holy Ghost spoke to her husband to tell me, get out there and do something. And it was at a perfect time, because during the pandemic, my job had furloughed me. So I was doing nothing, So I was like, you know what? I was listening to him, listening to the Holy Spirit talk to me as well. And I just called Coldwell Banker, because they're in Maplewood. So I called them up, and I had the nicest conversation with the broker manager. That was confirmation that I was supposed to be doing this, And so once I got into it, I I went into the office, I got my first client, just answering the calls, and I'll tell you, after I received my first client, I have not had to do any marketing, y'all. My clients have just been coming to me. By the grace of God, I've been getting people from, oh, we saw your bio. Out of all these other agents, they found me. So I know it was God. So I love it. If anyone is interested in getting into it, I highly recommend it. But there are some obstacles. You're gonna deal with people who think you're supposed to make magic. I want a house with with this or that. They have all these things that they want, and even for people that you're looking for an apartment for. I had a client who told me, well, the apartment, I want the kitchen to be all white. I'm like, it's an apartment. You can't change what the owner already has. You can't do that. So you have to have you have to have patience. You have to kind of not go off your emotions. You know what I mean? You have to kind of like just step back and really think about it and say, you know what? I'm going to help them and I'm going to do my best. And if I can't, then I'm just going to let it go. You know what I mean? Because I've dealt with that where it's like you got to look at it as, don't look at it as making money. Like don't get into real estate and say, I want to make all this money. You need to get into it because you want to help people, because you enjoy doing it. My thing is opening the door to these beautiful homes. I love to do that. I love opening the door up and showing my clients beautiful places to live. It's just, and then when I get them their homes or their apartments and they're so happy, that makes me feel good. And then guess what? I get a commission check. So it's, you gotta really like to do it. You gotta like people. You gotta have patience. And, even after you get them that house or that apartment, you gotta follow up with them. Hey, how's everything going? Because guess what? They will reach out to you if they want more. I have a client who I found, got him a house. And he just reached out to me. He's like, you know what, Tina, I'm interested in buying this laundromat. So now I'm into helping him with commercial real estate. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And others, they'll refer to me, oh, my realtor helped me with this. Here's her number, she can help you too. So it's called the sphere of influence.
Yes.
Those that are around you, those clients that you had, then they will send people to you. It's a great industry. Right now, the state of the market is not that great. You have clients who put bids in on houses and they lose them and they put their heart and soul into it. They want these houses so badly. And the way the market is, it's not meeting the demand. So a lot of people are just putting money, they're putting bids and they're praying that they get these houses. And to be honest with you, because I'm a Christian, I would tell people, pray. You want that house? Pray. I had told them, pray. You believe in Jesus Christ? You accept Him? Okay, pray. And there have been times when it worked out for them, So, I can go on and on and on, but I want them to present as well. But, if anyone has any follow-up questions, I believe we're taking questions at the end, right? Sister Vicky is our moderator. I forgot to, introduce her and let everybody know that she is our moderator. So she's going to have some questions for us, and then you guys have some.
I was the moderator.
Okay, so whoever wants to go next.
Yeah, I'll go next. My name is Cynthia, and I'm talking about my experience in the real estate world, in the real estate realm. And working at the bank has exposed me to other people, talking about getting investment homes, talking about multifamily homes. And before that, I never thought about really what real estate meant for me and my family, and even owning a house. Really, it was just kind of like, yo, we need an apartment. We just need to get a nice apartment. You know, make sure it has parking. You don't have to fight for it.
Right.
So being at the bank really exposed me to that. And if I could give just advice to anybody, like in the very beginning stages, like get a multi-family house, stay in one side for about a year, because that's really all you need to stay in there as a primary residence. Rent the other side, and then of course rent the other side once you move out, because now you have two incomes coming in from one property. But yeah, so I initially started thinking about real estate in an investment way working at the bank. And myself, I got into a real estate deal, one particular real estate deal from this woman who helped me with my A&G domestic staffing business. And she was saying how she was purchasing these houses at very low value, you know, houses that you can imagine, they need the works, right? You could just imagine like a hoarder's house. Some of them were that bad. Getting them at such a discounted price and then putting in money to fix it up, and then of course selling it on the market and then getting a profit for it. So I said, you know what, I don't have the carpenters or the contractors, I don't have the time or the energy at this moment, or the finances, right, to get into all of that. But this woman told me, well, if you put in a certain percentage, you'll get a profit back when I do sell it. Now, at this moment, there's some issues going on, okay, because the house is in probate. And since the house is in probate, it wasn't like, the house was owned by, like, let's say, a guy named David. And David, it wasn't his son or his brother, or it wasn't like immediate family, but it was like weird family lineage, somebody who could say, hey, you know, I have ownership to this house as well. So the house is in probate and it's being caught up. But anyways, God is working, he's working patience, like you mentioned before, patience in me, and the understanding that we need additional finances, right? All of this is really going to take finances. So it's all about getting things in order even now if you want to go into real estate. Another thing that I just came to my mind was getting a lawyer that you are going to have to pay for. I mean, there's other services where maybe you don't have to put down $500 to get a lawyer, but you need a lawyer to look at your contracts, because that's one of the issues that I had with this deal. The lawyer that I basically was referred to me, and she was kind of doing it on a friend's behalf. She just kind of looked at it and said, oh yeah, this is all right. But she didn't look at it as someone who was getting paid for it. So of course there were things that were wrong with the contract. And so I'm dealing with that, but God is teaching me, like, you're going to get your money back. It's just going to be on my time, because you went forth, even though this was a good thing, it was not in the season. It wasn't in the season for you to do this real estate investment, and it wasn't with the right person. So that's another thing, right? We all got to be aware. You're going to seek counsel. I sought counsel, but in my mind I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, right? But God is like, nah, you did it out of order. Even though you saw counsel, you already made up in your mind you was going to do it with this woman. And now you have to wait. Now you have to be patient. Now you have to be like, you know, I had to go through some things. But he broke it off me. But anyway, so yeah, I put in a certain amount of money with this woman, and once everything is done, I'll be able to get a certain amount, a percentage back from when it's sold. And I know that's going to be a good sum. And the second way I'm into real estate investing is something called real estate wholesaling. And that's essentially when you find someone, again, who's, I want to use the word kind of desperate. You know, they don't want the property anymore. Maybe it's someone who used to rent. They're like, I'm not dealing with tenants anymore. You know, this is a big thing for me. You know, with the pandemic, there were a lot of people not paying rents. There are people who are purposefully not paying because they were like, well, we're gonna ride this out, you know. So people don't want to deal with tenants, or maybe the house is in such disrepair, they don't have the finances, or they don't have the bandwidth. Like I was dealing with one person, their grandfather left him this beautiful brownstone. I mean, the brownstone needed work. And it could have been worth over $1 million on the market. But they're like, I don't want to deal with this. I would have to put so much money into this, and it's not worth it. So you know what? I will sell this for $75,000 because there's tax liens, blah, 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 blah. So for wholesaling, this woman is like, okay, I'll take $75,000 for it, right? But fixed up, we know it's worth more than $1 million.
Right.
Right? If you want the headache, just know that everything that you're gonna get into. I mean, I know we're all adults here, but just know that everything that we're gonna get to, there is baggage, or there's what's the word I'm looking for? There's just things that come with the business, right? That you're gonna have to deal with. So for the wholesaler, this woman's like, I'll take $75,000, but just remember, you have to deal with getting the tax liens or whatever issues that you need to be correcting, the tenants that are going to be in it or that are currently there, you're going to have to deal with them. The renovations, you're going to have to deal with that. And we all know how things have been getting backed up because, you know, shipments haven't been able to go out as they need to. So all of that does matter. But with the wholesaling, what I like about the wholesaling is that what you're doing is you're really just flipping contracts. Okay, you're really flipping contracts. So let's say, for instance, Judith has a house. She's not living in it. You know, she has some tenants. It's just sitting there. She wants to get rid of it. And I call Judith and I say, Judith, hi. You know, I'm a real estate investor. I'm looking to purchase properties in that area. You know, are you willing to sell your property? Yeah. You know, I'm tired of this house. Blah 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 blah. Great. I'll purchase it from you. You know, market value is, let's say, $100,000, but I'll purchase it from you at $70,000. I'll take it off your hand. We'll settle cash immediately within 30 days. You know what? That sounds great. Awesome. I have a contract with Judith. Then I call up my sister Tina. Tina, I got this house over here. You know, it's in great condition, right? It's in great condition because she's going to be flipping it. It's in great condition for you to flip it, so you can make your profit. Tina's gonna run her numbers and say, you know what, that's awesome. On the market, it's $100,000, but I'm gonna sell it to her for $80,000. I'm selling it to Tina for $80,000, and I'm selling her essentially the contract. I don't have to put any money down. I'm not wasting. I'm not looking for title. I'm not looking for, you know, who's tax. That's all her responsibility. All I did was find out, okay, Judith doesn't want this house anymore. She doesn't live in it. She's tired of dealing with it. I'm gonna sell it to Tina. She's gonna give me a $10,000 commission. Really, in the end, she has a property that she can flip and turn even more profit on it. So that's what the wholesale thing is, and that's what I've been trying to get into. But you know, life happens where you don't really go in as hard as you don't really go in as hard as you need to. But you know, God is good. He's giving me grace, and I'm trying to jump on the wagon again and get into that. But there's so many ways that you can get into real estate, not just a real estate realtor. You know, not just putting down $30,000 or $50,000 down, but you can also get into real estate investing via real estate wholesaling, which essentially you really don't need any money. You just need time and effort and energy to do it, and which that could lead you into, you know, other ventures. So that's my story. Amen.
Okay, so I'm moderating now. Okay, so does anybody have any questions for Tina before we move on to anyone else? Because I don't want anybody, you know, too much information and you could
Right.
you had any questions. So we're gonna start with Tina. If anyone has any questions for Tina, and then questions for Cynthia.
I have a question. I'm looking to do real estate. I have a passion for it. I've been doing real estate actually before I even becoming real estate. I would help people in real estate. Like if I knew they had apartments, people that needed apartments, I would let them know that what they had, and then they would say they wanted, and I would go with them with the real estate broker to see the apartment, but they got the real estate commission.
Right.
Because they, like since one, But I was putting all of that in all these years, and I realized that I have a desire to do it, and I've been helping people. When people need apartments to this day, they call me on my phone. And then I started thinking about, you being that you already have one. I said, well, I can call somebody if you're interested in a house or apartment, because they call me all the time. Like, even my job, everybody always comes to me. So I'm like, something is with this.
Yes.
Why they keep asking me for apartment and houses. So what my question is, I'm looking to get my license, right? And I was looking to go to school up in New York. They had like a free course or something up there. And I'm still waiting because they open and closing the schools back and forth due to COVID. But if that doesn't happen like that, can you kind of refer me to like a school that I could get it or either online or something where I need to get my license at this point?
Of course. So, but the thing is, are you looking to get a New York license or New Jersey license?
Probably New York, because that's where everybody that's asking for apartments for
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I would only be able to refer you to what's happening in New Jersey.
Okay.
Unfortunately. But I could tell you that once you do have your license, actually, what I will do is I could find out who is my brokerage connect for Coldwell Banker, if that's the firm that you're looking to go into, and they can find out who is in the branch in New York.
Okay.
Because I believe with Coldwell Banker, they will help you. Like even before you have your license, they'll help you. Tell you like what school they'll refer you to, whatever. And I believe some of them do pay. They'll pay for the school.
Okay.
So some brokerage, like my broker manager, I was told that he paid for a few of of our agents for them to take the classes and go to school. So
because I'm hearing it's better to do it in person than online. But then I know some people did online and was fine with it. So I guess to each his own. But I like more so hands-on,
Yeah, no, it's better.
I know a lady that I helped, she was one of the ones I used to help show apartments with her. She's opened up her real estate now, and she wants me to come and work for her. So she just said, when you get your license, call me.
Well, the one thing I want to say to you is find out what your split is going to be. Because if she says, oh, come work for me, and you're only getting 30%, that's not good.
Right.
You want to make sure. When I first started with Coldwell Banker, they started me off with 70%.
Wow.
Yeah, and a lot of people were saying, wow, like to start off, that's why I know it was God. It was all God. But find out what your split is going to be. And when you ask that, she'll be like, oh, who's she going to talk to?
Right.
Find out what your split is going to be. And then I'm always here. Just if there's something that you don't understand, you can call me, because even though I'm an agent for a different state, it's all the basics are still the same. So. Any other questions? Oh.
So I actually have a question for Cynthia. For wholesaling, like who would you get in contact with? Would it be like like a Coldwell Banker firm? Would it be a bank? Would it be just somebody out of the blue? Because it's all about connections.
Oh, that's a very good question. So initially when I started looking at people who wanted to sell their homes, I went on Zillow.com. And Zillow has an area where you have houses that are listed with a real estate agent and houses that are listed by owner. And so you want to contact all the houses that are listed by owner. I mean, some of them are like, first of all, you're going to get their information, you're going to get their telephone number. You'll be able to call them directly or even text them. There's different scripts that you can use where you can send them a text and just call them. Leave a voicemail, but yeah, that's how I started. Some people have been using lists that they purchased called batch lead. I mean, that's if you want to spend the money, and at this time I ain't got the coins, so I'm gonna go $3.99 way, and just call the people who list their homes on Zillow.com. And say, hey, are you interested in selling your home? And another thing with the wholesaling is that you need to get good at looking at comparables. And Tina could probably give you a little bit more on that. But essentially, it's looking at the houses that have been sold.
Comps,
Yeah. Houses that have been sold in the area, so that you can say, okay, this house, these 3 houses or these 2 houses sold for this much. These were the conditions of it, and this is what I'm willing to offer you based on the conditions of the houses that were sold in that area. Because people always want to list their house at a higher value than it really is worth, right? Hey, this is my house. Of course, it's $150,000 more than market value, and it's like, no, no, it's not. The market says this is what your house is worth, especially if it needs fixing up. I'm not going to pay you what you think is market value. And if the person says, well, I don't want to sell to you, well, okay, bye. Your house has been on the market for 300 days already. Why do you think that is?
Right.
Why do you think your house has been on the market for so long if it was such a good deal? And the other thing is that there's different software that you can use to help you get the comps. And some of them, they have like the free trial. That's what I did a lot. Free trials for the 7 days. And I cancel it because, you gotta wash your pockets until the money starts raining in. Amen?
Amen.
So
Is
what's
it always
a
best to do wholesale, like cash, or like can you do it through a bank?
So the person who is the end buyer, right? They can do it cash, and they can do it through the bank, but it's more appeasing, or it's more appealing to the individual who says, well, we can close within 30 days, cash money, right? Because you have to go through a whole bunch of ins and outs when it has to do with financing.
Yeah.
And some people
And I
don't
can speak to that.
Yeah, some people don't want to deal. And I remember that from when I was purchasing my own house, when initially the difference between me and the other buyers was that they were going, well, they still financed, but they were conventional.
Yep.
And I had a FHA,
Yeah.
and they were like, well, we're going with conventional.
That's what's happening. Yep.
We're not going with FHA. So if you say I have cash money, even though you don't necessarily have the money, but what you have in your contract is the ability to assign the contract to someone else who's going to be paying cash. And so that's what's like really like, ooh, yes, we can close immediately. You don't have to wait and draw this thing out. You don't got to pay another month's mortgage. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You don't have to deal with these tenants or whatever the problem is.
Yeah.
But how will you know, like, being the middleman, right? So I'm telling this person, okay, I have 80 grand cash, but I don't have that cash. I'm going to pass it on to the next person. But how do you know already that you have the next person to, or where do you look for that?
Oh, amen. What I've been using is Facebook.
Okay.
Honestly, go into the marketplace and you say, I have this house available. These are the bedrooms. This is the bathrooms, whatever. If you're interested, contact me. And they'll contact you and say, you know what, I need proof of funds. I need proof of funds that you're legit and you're serious about the transaction. And most people are. Most people who are end buyers, they want to flip.
Okay.
They want to flip houses. Some people want to flip, renovate the house and hold it. And some people want to just renovate and sell it right off and do the next thing. Some people kind of have like that addiction kind of thing going on with it. But yeah, that's how I find buyers. I find buyers through other wholesalers. Like you said, you build a network. You're like, oh, you're doing this? You're like, wow, people. Like I met my husband's cousin. I didn't know about him. He was like, he saw a post that I made on Facebook. He was like, oh, you're in wholesaling. I said, well, yeah. I'm just getting into it, but yeah, I'm in wholesaling. And that's how I made a connection with him. And he was like, oh yeah. And I referred people to him already. And I'm waiting on that in Jesus' name.
Yes.
That kickback, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah, you find people. That's how I found people initially, is through Facebook, and other people in wholesaling. That's how you find your empires.
I actually met someone too that did the same thing that you were doing, they were researching in their home, but what they were looking at was their obituary.
That's smart.
Just those
Yeah.
homes, right?
Yeah.
And they were looking at the obituary because sometimes some homes are just being inherited to a child that's not even interested in keeping
Yes.
a mother's home or a
Yep.
mother's house and
That's
stuff. right? So
Yep.
that's just some, you know.
Pre-foreclosure list that you can get
Yes.
from your county, state, or your city. Yeah.
Yeah. So back to Cynthia's point about different types of loans and cash. So with the state of the market where supply is not meeting the demand, cash is king. You know, so basically it's a seller's market. So the sellers have the control, they have the upper hand. So if you, as a first-time buyer, you know, you may not have, you know, a lot of funds, and you know, you're really excited. You got approved, you know, for an FHA loan, and the loan could be, you know, whatever amount. And you know, you're going with your the minimum amount, which is 3.5% down, and you're going into a market where there are people that have conventional loans, and they're putting 10% down or 20% down, and then you have those that are coming in and they have straight cash. So the sellers, what they're doing is they're looking at those that have the cash as opposed to those people that have FHA loans. You know, so with the state of the market, FHA loans are not looking so great when you submit an offer.
I remember people saying, especially during last year, 2020, how people would, let's say if the house was $200,000, right, and people would offer like $280,000, but the value of the home wasn't there. How did that work? I'm still kind of like, how does that work?
So the sellers, what they're doing is because they know, first of all, if you have an FHA, I think conventional as well, you have to get that house appraised.
Right.
So if the appraisal falls short of what that purchase price is, the bank is not going to give a mortgage for that amount.
Right.
So that buyer has to be willing to put the difference.
Okay.
So if FHA approves, you know, the house, if they appraise the house at $500,000 and you done offered $650,000, you better come up with $150,000. So what the sellers are doing is they are having people waive, like, well, first they're having people waive inspections. That's one
Lord.
thing. Yes. Like if you want this house, you got to be willing to waive this, waive that. And with the FHA appraisals, what they're saying is you have to write something that says if FHA doesn't appraise it for the purchase value, you will come up with the difference. So even before you submit an offer, they have all these things, these requirements, like, and if you can't meet these requirements, if you're not willing to waive this or whatever, then don't even submit an offer. And these agents are sharks. They're out here one agent, I submitted one of my clients' offer. They gave like $10,000 over asking. Conventional loan. And you know, they were all excited, like, yes. They thought they were gonna get the house. So when the agent and the seller actually went over all the offers, he finally got back to me and he was like, thank you for submitting your offer. Your client's offer was in second place for bottom. I was like, whoa.
Second place for what?
For bottom, like the seller wasn't even looking at their offer. It was all at the bottom because there were people that were just giving so much more and willing to do more. And I mean, it's a tough world. That's why I said don't come into real estate expecting to make a certain amount of money. That's why I have a full-time job. I'm gonna tell y'all that. I have a full-time job and I do real estate on the side.
Oh, okay.
But once I began to build up my real estate portfolio, which my sister gonna help me with because I'm gonna get into that, the wholesale and all that.
Amen.
Then I can quit my 9 to 5, but you gotta have money to fall back on. You can't just get into real estate and think, oh, I can pay my bills. No. Because it's not promised money. It really isn't. You have to work hard.
To get the commission.
To get commission, you have to really work hard. And then another thing, when you mentioned about referral, so you can also be a referral agent, right? You know, where you just refer people out, like what Kindlin was doing. She don't even know she was a referral agent. She could have been getting paid for that. You know, but you got to have your license in order to do it. But a referral agent doesn't have to do everything that a real estate agent does. Because a referral agent, they're just connecting the buyer to an agent. You know,
I like
they're
that.
not out there showing houses. They can't do that. They're very, limited in what they can do. But they can sit back and just collect the check.
That's what I was gonna say, do they collect?
Yeah, you can sit back and collect the
That's
check.
a part-time
You
job.
know? So, it's a lot. It's a lot to it.
You know, I'm just thinking about this. I don't think that'll work for me anyway, but I love people. But I never, but this referral, like a prophet said, that's a good thing, referral agent, you get commission. But I remember, this was a couple of years ago, Aisha's 30, you might as well say 33. I took her and her friend to a job fair at Westchester County building. And I parked, and I was asleep, like I'm a little bit tired right now. But anyway, my car just bopped the car in front of me, and she awakened me. So she said, oh, I'm sorry, no. I said, no, that's okay. I said, I think it's time for me to go upstairs and see what my daughter's doing, because they've been in there for a long time, because they were doing a training with multitudes of people. I'm going up there to go check up on my child, and the lady comes to me. She says, would you like a house? I said, house. Now, I remember what the Lord said to me. And she says, it was so much going on in the Westchester County, but they had the real estate people and houses to go downstairs. I went down there anyway. So they have, like, Westchester, they have, like, first-time buyer. You put in so much hours or whatever. So I just went, and I says, would love a duplex. I'm not looking for a house, a duplex. And it was very encouraging when she said to me, she says, I don't work for the world anymore, secular. She's working for the Lord. And how she had her first-time house in Scarsdale, which is high statisticity. You don't see too many blacks. And they lived in maybe a one-bedroom apartment. Now she's in a house that she loved.
Yes.
So I was, so it's just interesting in what you're saying, because I love people, but I don't think that would work for me to be a realtor. I wouldn't mind that. I never heard of a referral agent.
Referral,
But
yeah.
that woman, she says, I'm not working for the world no more. I'm working for Jesus. And I was like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
She's like, go get your house.
Yeah. And when you said, just for you saying that, it reminds me of, like, when you have these people, these clients, and, if you're like me, where I want to tell everybody about Jesus Christ, you know what I mean? So I noticed that God puts me in situations where I can minister to them. You know what I mean?
Amen.
Like, I could be with someone, and it would just be me and that person looking at an apartment or a house, and I can stop them right there. Like, they are at my mercy right now.
Right,
You know what I mean?
right.
And I can say, do you know Jesus Christ? Do you know who he, and right then and there, they can accept him. You know what I'm saying? So, this real estate business, it's more than just, the money. It's more than just, helping people find houses. If you have a calling, you feel that God wants you to do these things, like he wants you to speak his name and spread, the good news, he will put you in situations like that. And I feel that that's what he has done with me. Like, he has given me so many opportunities to just speak into people's lives. Have them pray. Like, because they want these houses, they want these apartments, and they're like, oh, what should we do? Should we write a letter? What should we do? Pray. How about you do that? And they do. They listen to me. So it's a beautiful thing. So when she said that she's doing the work for the Lord, I can understand exactly what she's talking
And
about.
I saw it on the Facebook. It's a bunch of people for anybody who want to get in real estate. So they have training that you can get into. I mean, instead of going to a class, you get in contact with the person on the Facebook, the group.
Like
Yeah.
a,
So
like
what
a
is
video,
that?
like
A Zoom class.
a Zoom class or something like that, right?
Maybe,
Something
I
like
guess
that.
so.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah. There's a lot of people getting into the industry.
Oh, yeah,
A lot of
it's
people.
so easier.
That's how it says an open door, because you're saying that real estate was part of your ministry, an open door. And because I spoke to you, it was the open door that God had told me that you were ministering to people through.
For her dad.
Saying
Yeah.
to open that door,
Yeah.
that I had to prep him for what was coming, and that I had jarred it, and you had crushed that door open, which through prayers, fasting.
Yeah, because her dad, I'm his realtor. her dad's realtor to sell his house. And, you know, I was going and I could tell that he was in tune with my spirit. Like, it was just something, you know, and the Holy Spirit kept saying to me, you are going to ask him about Jesus Christ. He's going to accept Jesus Christ from you. From what you say to him, he's going to accept it. And over here, you know, what she's been going through with her family, like them fighting about, you know, her speaking about Jesus Christ, there was a part of me that was like, oh, I don't know if this man is going to tell me to get out of his house, or he's going to say, no, I don't want you to be my realtor anymore. You talking Jesus, get out of here. But he was accepting. He was like, of course. He was like, I would be a fool not to know who Jesus Christ is and accept him. And I was like, amen. So even when, you know, like you think you have these doubts, God will tell you what to do and how to do it. And that day, and I told her, that day my job was trying to keep me at the computer. Like, the enemy was working so hard to keep me at that computer so that I couldn't go and minister to her father. And I felt it. And I just got up from that computer. I said, no, I'm about my father's business. And I got from that computer and I got right in my car. I didn't care what was going on at that job. I was like, they will be okay. And I went and I took that drive and I did what my father told me to do. And he is saved.
Through his warfare, against warfare. I mean, the demonic things was trying to keep me from keeping my father there or coming where it was turns and everything, and I was praying in tongues and everything because I knew she was already at the house, what was coming. But it was so much warfare. Every light that you could possibly think was a red light. Every people cutting and everything was there. It was just, but God has, I can't imagine, I don't even have enough words. I'm so grateful to God, and I'm so grateful to my sisters that have been there.
Well, glory to God. Glory to God. I was just being obedient.
And I just want to say something that when you put God first, realize even whatever business that you get into, even if you get some crimps in the road, he still bring you through. He still bring you out because of who you acknowledge and who you serve.
That's right.
And even with the real estate business, you saying, you know, you have your 9 to 5, and yeah, we know that. But because of who you serve again, the 9 to 5 won't always be there. You will go into real estate.
Yes,
and we don't realize how blessed we are because of who we serve. This is how your business actually prevails. This is how it perishes. This is how we get the things that we need from God for who we serve. And you were assigned to him, not his daughter. And this is what God is showing us, that certain people is assigned to certain people. I was telling this to Sister Vicky, God showed me, believe it or not, Sister Vicky is assigned to my daughter.
Wow.
In the spirit. And I talked with her about it, and God let me know as she was speaking. I said, oh my God, all this time we want to be assigned because they are kids, they are sister, they are mother.
Right.
But God has somebody to assign to each one. When you can't reach them, that person is already there. So when you serve God, what he does is he brings your connect to you so they can reach.
That's some good stuff.
They can reach who you need. But everything works through God.
Yes.
You know, and I'm realizing this as I'm praying. And I'm praying on the prayer line. God is bringing more wisdom and knowledge because wisdom, knowledge, like mercy and grace, they like connected.
Yes. Amen.
And God is just bringing more knowledge, and he showed me that in the spirit with her. I'm going to a whole other level, sorry. And I was just blessed by that. And this God is just using each and every one.
Yes.
But we keep God first.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's the answer.
That's a word. That is a word. And you know what, Sister Clinton? I want to say you are on point because my cousin Cree came here today and you helped her to be saved.
Oh, my God.
Yes. And you did that with my
Oh,
in-laws
yes.
the last time.
Yes.
Mallory's, you know, my
What's her,
in-law.
what's her name again?
um,
Sabrina?
Oh no, Sandy.
Sandy.
Yeah, you led her into the Lord.
Yes.
The second Sandy, so Holy Spirit.
And we have to call them and encourage them because once they get saved, that's when the tax going to get severe. So I'm going to have to call your cousin that came today and you call her aunt because that's when the battle's really on.
Oh, I know.
You know, right after they say,
You guys got to take it back.
yeah. So I just want to say one more thing about real estate and then I'm done, because I'm gonna have to leave. But are you aware of like, when you do real estate, like DSS, like they pay the brokers, you don't need a certain real estate, a license to get that kind of fee, do you?
What's DSS?
Okay, Department of Social Service, welfare.
Okay, what about that?
Like Section 8, right?
No, it's something different from Section 8.
No.
This is where people get food stamps from. Money, I'm just bringing it to you. They pay the brokers to find those people apartments, I don't know if you know, but they do.
Oh.
So what happens is, say they go to DSS and they say, listen, I see this apartment, but I don't have the money to pay for the broker to find this apartment. I need a one-shot deal. I was on it and I learned it while I was on it. Now that I'm
Oh, okay.
So I learned the system. So the broker's fee is like, they don't really like to pay it, but they do because they feel like your brokers are not really working, because all you gotta do is come show me an apartment. I go to DSS and I say, you know what, I don't really have the money, I need a one-shot deal, and they'll just pay you for you showing me that apartment, and with the apartment's $2,300, that's what you get, for just showing me the
Just
apartment.
showing it to
And if
you?
I take it, no, if I
Oh,
take
you
it.
take it.
If I
Oh,
take
okay.
it, no, if I
Alright. Yeah,
take
yeah,
it,
yeah.
but that's $2,300 right there in the
Yeah.
apartment.
Yeah.
So say all week, you get some social service clients, and they all take the apartments.
Yeah. that's
Whatever
what
the apartment and the security is, that's what the broker's fee is.
Wow.
And even sometimes it's a little extra, because I remember going to an apartment and didn't have it, went down there, that's how I found out about it. And when I saw what the broker got, she got what I paid monthly for the apartment, plus extra. So they wound up giving her like about $400 or $500 extra, and I'm like, well, what? She didn't even really show me, she had somebody else show me. But, and I took it, but that's,
Yeah. So that's true with the commission, and that's with any apartment.
okay.
You get, so I know for Jersey, I don't know how New York does it, but for New Jersey, whatever the apartment is, so if the rent is $1,500, then the commission would be $1,500. But you gotta split that with the agent for the landlord, unless you're being a dual agent. So if I'm working for the landlord and the tenant, then I'm straight. Like, that's more money in my pocket. However, if not, I would have to split it with the agent for the landlord. So
That-
even
that-
though so
that-
that $1,500 would be split between the two of
For
us.
the agent that's on it, that you showed the apartment to. But if it's your apartment, that,
If it's mine,
Primary,
yeah,
your primary person.
yeah,
Yeah.
like you,
yeah,
what I'm
because
saying
I've
is,
had situations
you
like
get
that.
the money, but I'm saying sometimes they give extra. But
Oh.
this is why Mount Vernon, like, you can go down to DSS and you could leave like your card, and they will call you and they will let you know, I approved so-and-so for this amount, find an apartment. It's
Right.
like guaranteed money.
Yeah, but then also, I'm sorry, I know you have a question. Also, it's harder to show people that have those, like Section 8 and stuff. It's kind of harder because there are landlords that aren't accepting them,
But no,
which is a violation of
right.
it's a
Yeah,
federal
it's a
violation.
now. Yeah, they can't say no, but they
yeah.
do. But this is more like Section 8, but not Section 8. This is people that are on DSS that get like a program, like a Shelter Plus, or they get disability, or this is a little different than Section 8, or they get disability and they'll say, you know what, find so-and-so apartment because we're covering it. And if they cover it, all you gotta do is find an apartment. Most of the time, they don't turn it down because these people.
Oh, because they're gonna pay. They're gonna
They know they get to pay.
And they desperately need an apartment, so these people take them. So I see real estate's like brokers fee. It's like a guaranteed letter they give you as a broker saying that this is gonna be deposited in your account.
Yeah.
And I see like the lady I used to work with, she has stacks of DSS DSS guaranteed letters on her list that this is all that she was getting paid just for finding these people apartments.
Well, I need to get my New York license.
That sounds similar to Jersey though, but I think in Jersey, because I used to work in nonprofit sector with DDD, so I think it's the same, but I think it's for developmental disabilities, because literally, and it's something I haven't been able to tap into yet, just trying to connect the pieces right now, but you'll have adults with developmental disabilities that are what we call high functioning.
Yes.
So they function in the society, right? So they're not in group homes. And unfortunately right now, because they're not connected, DCD is no longer connected with the state. So all these agencies now are only accepting people with high acuities. So you got to be almost like halfway beat down, broken up, because that's you get more money, right, for the agency. So there's gonna be a lot of people in Jersey that's gonna be homeless because they can't even get into a group home setting anymore with the supports that they need. But you will definitely be guaranteed your rent, your mortgages, and all that kind of stuff because the state will still have a social worker assigned to them. So they will still, so you will still go to the apartments and they will still the GDD themselves will actually do what we call inspections. So like the clients will live there and they will come in and make sure that the place is being kept up to par. You know, some kind of something that has nothing to do with Section 8.
Right.
So that's something to think about. But I say this again, I'm just going to say it, right? Because every time I come together, I personally believe collectively this is a business, right? So I don't know what you have to do to get the referral agent license. Because I'm going to look into that, right? The referral thing.
Yeah,
But
I mean, it's just,
literally,
you know, like
it's like a consortium here, right? Literally, everybody can eat
feed off of each
from
other.
each other. Yes, like at a feast, because I always say this, and I say this to Jolene all the time, that we're stronger in unity than trying to do something always by ourselves, right? And God supplies so much that it's not even a competition, right?
Right.
So He has enough supply that everybody can eat, right? But we have to kind of get out of that. I think she gonna make more money than me.
Right,
This was
right.
gonna be this and more.
That's a negative thinking.
Yes,
Yeah.
right. That's what
I'm
keeps
even
us
looking
focused
into
down.
corporate leasing for Airbnb.
Oh.
Yes. And that's something, like I said, I wanted to talk to you and you about, like, especially you're a realtor, so you can represent me to, like, any building, right? And then you will go, you say, as a client, I am looking to lease, but it's like their contract, it's a couple lease. So I'm leasing to them, but to do Airbnb.
Right.
So any commission from that, like you do the leasing, like I'm renting an apartment.
Yeah.
But I'm not renting an apartment to live. I'm renting an apartment to do Airbnb.
Right.
So I pay them their monthly dues, but the person that I have in there is in and out. So they don't, you know, like that way there is no, like, if I don't want to purchase anything yet, I want to start Airbnb in case it. I've been looking into it and see how that is going. So that's a way, like, it's taking over everybody. I've been even looking at some people, talking to people in Charlotte, like everyone is like getting into that, like they're, you know, like realtors are helping people finding places where it's called corporate listing for Airbnb. So you go in and then you just teach, like, oh, you know, some people, they only do it for traveling nurses, right? So if there's a hospital that is close by and the building is there's not a lot of people that are renting right now because those buildings are expensive, but when you're a traveling nurse, they pay the stipend, like, you know, like they already give you the money for your apartment that you're going to stay there for 3 months, whatever your contract is, or you know, like 4 months or 5 months. So when you go in, I can say to you, I'm only looking for traveling nurses in that area because there isn't a hospital. So I'll do the corporate leasing. So I lease from the, you know, like the landlord. And so the people that I have in there are traveling nurses or business, you know, like doctors that are coming in for a specific period of time. So they pay me and I pay them.
That's a huge business account.
I'm looking into it.
So that's what I was, a referral agent, it was there's an agent in New York who had referred me one of my clients. And now we're still doing business together because he keeps sending me clients because he's in New York, I'm in New Jersey. So he reached out to me, and I believe I mentioned this to you, he reached out to me last year, and he told me, it was something similar to what you're saying. There's these Jewish men who owns like a lot of the nursing homes in New Jersey, and they need more staff. They need more people, like more aides and nurses. So they're recruiting in Jamaica. They're recruiting people in Jamaica. So what they're trying to do right now, they're going through the legal issues of it. They had to fire a lawyer that was, because they were being lax, they weren't doing what they were supposed to do. So now they hired another one. So once they get the paperwork down, the legal paperwork down, this referral agent and myself, we're supposed to find a building, like you said, something like that. So all of these nurse aides and people that work in those nursing homes that will be working for the Jewish people, they will have some place to stay, to live, and then also we're supposed to look into like buses or something so that they can get back and forth to work. So it's something similar to that.
Yeah.
I can't wait for that to roll in.
Yes.
Yeah, places like California, Charlotte, because there's a lot of nurses that are traveling, Florida that do traveling nurses. If it wasn't school, I probably would have been out there, but God knows. Yeah, but that's one of the way like you can make money without buying a place for yourself. Eventually, it will be smart to do. But I have seen, I did like a class, like a 3-hour class, like a couple weeks ago, with this girl who is in that business. Like, you know, like there are people that own like 10 to 20 apartments and that are doing corporate listing, Airbnb. So even if there was like a month or two, like you didn't have a lot of people coming in, it actually covers for the whole year. So you're not really losing because you already have like, you know, your, let's say it's 1-bedroom apartment and it's in Charlotte, that's where I was looking. It's like $14.50 like for one of their nice buildings, right? So you already, like if you have someone that are coming from the area that are working in those hospitals that are desperate, they already pay you for each month $1,600 for that apartment. So you already have the money ahead and you can keep on going that way.
You got more, put it in your pocket.
Yeah.
Amen. That's a good investment because you know who's making a killing on that right now? The hotels. Because every time I call the hotel, like not now, but when we wanted to do something for my grandkid's birthday, the hotel rooms are booked up from the people from the hospital that they paying for. Even the conference rooms, they have an immediate there. You couldn't even have a gathering in there because they paying them. And she said they actually paid them up to June.
Yeah, so imagine if you have like, if you have like a corporate leasing there, so you already make the money for the time being.
Yeah.
So people will be, and then a lot of the time it's like word of mouth, like, oh, I stay at that place. Like if you go and, you know, like the nurses refer other nurses to the company, and they will refer to like, oh, the person I was dealing with like was really nice, so I'm gonna refer you to that place to stay too.
That's good, yes.
And they up with it too.
That's good.
I know.
Yeah, especially when you pay in advance. Or they use the money in advance.
Yeah.
Well, if you don't mind, I want to just jump in. I'm not on the panel, but I did come today because my sister told me there was going to be an in-town business, women in business. So I just started back in November, credit repair business.
Oh.
So I am trying to link up and network with people in real estate or anybody that needs their credit repaired. I am here. I'll leave my cards. That's all I want to say.
Yes, please do.
Because we're all, like Kim said, we all compete on one another. I work in Maplewood.
Do you?
I work in Maplewood at Sanford Heights Hearing Center, right on Springfield Avenue.
Oh, wow.
So definitely I can send you people. And
Oh, awesome. Connections.
With your credit
I'm
repairs, only from New Jersey?
no, it's for New York, New Jersey, yeah.
And I have some people I can send you.
Absolutely. So my dream is to, you know, help people. Like you said, you have to enjoy what you're doing. I've been in the medical field all my life. That's all I do is try to provide the best service that I can. And thinking, you know, the last few years, just thinking about our finances as a culture. A lot of people don't know about credit and what, you know, what it means to have good credit, what you can get because of credit. And so now it's, you know, it's in my mission to start teaching the younger children. I do have a book coming out that I'll have for sale on my website.
Yes.
From K through 6th grade, and then I have another one from 9th through 12th and above. Because as adults, like I need to learn like a child sometimes.
Yes.
And so I do have those things coming forward. I want to teach our people, you know, just more financial literacy and how to take advantage of those things and how to build your credit.
Yes.
You know, so I do have a few programs, affiliates that I'm working with, and teaching people how to get a credit card that it's a credit builder that will help you increase your score. So I'm looking forward to hopefully hearing from you guys. We can work together. I
Yes.
refer back and
Absolutely.
forth, real estate, and just people in general who don't know anything about credit. We need to start teaching
Yes.
so that our legacy will be
Amen.
that we have good credit.
It's a great network.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Thank you so much, Camila.
Amen. Yeah.
Definitely need your card.
Yes, absolutely.
I just had something to say about the DSS. So I had to get a one-shot deal, but I was employed. So not everybody that gets a one-shot deal, they have Section 8 or anything like that. They just I needed it right then
Oh,
and
I
there.
get what you're saying,
And I
yeah.
didn't have the money for, up front. So I was told by somebody that knows the system,
Right.
go down there and tell them you need a one-shot deal. And I already knew where I wanted to go, so I just gave them the address or what have you, and they had somebody come out to do an inspection. That was it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
good.
that's what I said.
So that's just whoever doesn't have the finances right there,
Right, you can go
but they
for
have a job and they, they
In my case, I had.
Yeah.
Well, you're not making the requirements to really pay for it, and they do it for people with jobs or without. It depends on the situation, but they even do it for people coming out of jail. They do it for the disability. They do it for all different situation.
Yeah.
But they cover a multitude of different areas of people that whatever they're going through. Guys that come home from jail, they give them a guarantee letter to find a room. Maybe they can't find an apartment, so the room is $700. So that broker would get that $700, and it's guaranteed money. They give you a guarantee letter, letting you know that it will be deposited in your account. After a week or two or whatever the case may be. But with DSS is the best place. That's why a lot of people from real estate. I was realizing the lady who's about to open her own real estate. She was doing it. She was getting all those guarantee letters. She would go down there, leave her business card. So they started calling her, asking her, do you have something? Can you find something? And then they would just email her guarantee letters. Like that.
Wow, so that's that quick money.
Yeah, quick money. And the thing about that also is that there are a lot of realtors that some of my colleagues, but they don't even take rentals. That's beneath them.
Right.
Me? Sure. Give me a rental. I will hustle. I will do what I need to do.
Right.
Even though I'm very, very busy. But I'm not going to turn, because actually, to be honest with you, it's quicker money. There you go, Kimberly.
Right.
You get that money faster than waiting like 3 or 4 months before a closing. So, and, I'm in Maplewood. I prefer just covering Essex County, but I will go wherever I have to go to get someone a house.
Amen.
So, that's another thing. When you get into it, don't limit yourself.
It's a twofold blessing. You're getting blessed because that person who's in a dire state.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I want to say to you, I thank God for you telling me that you deal with that, because I have so many people that need their credit repaired, and people have took advantage of them. And I'm one. I paid this company like a lot of money a couple of years ago to fix my credit that's still not fixed.
Wow.
And it got over. It's done, it's set down, it's over. But it's just that people are taking advantage. We need people that, that's God, And God too. God is paying.
Okay, so it is now, it's 4:38, so you want to do a quick intermission, and then go into media?
You guys want to do an intermission?
Let's do it.
Okay.
Yes.